Well, hey, I want to welcome you all to live coaching, and thanks for carving out the time to be here. And if you're someone who's registered for live coaching and you couldn't be here live, I want to acknowledge you because you're watching this, and hopefully your questions get answered. I do this live coaching every single month. It's just a way to serve people, especially small business owners, people thinking of starting a business, side hustlers. And with our live coaching, we've had so many people either launch businesses or grow businesses. My goal is always just to be just a straight shooter, just give you advice. The thing I do ask is you don't mention any specific company names. That's rule number one. And rule number two is just, have fun, participate. It's amazing. I want to acknowledge Jessica, who's here. She just took her book to #1 on Amazon with no marketing investment. Like, how crazy is that? And her book is called This Is Autism. So congratulations, Jessica. I just am so proud of you, and that is awesome. And Jessica is really and truly one of the most coachable people I've ever worked with. So congrats, Jessica, on that. Couple of quick announcements before we go ahead and get started. And my beautiful business partner, Diana Frerick, is here. Diana is the president of Agency 8, which is the digital marketing agency that I founded. And we have a lot of exciting things going on. The first thing that's going on is we have this coming up. It's the Ultimate Marketing Experience Online. And this would have been our second year doing the event live, and the first year was profound. I mean, we taught, marketing and sales and architecture of your business, and people came to me and were like, I don't even know what you did to my brain, Susan, but my business is on fire. And so unfortunately with COVID, we couldn't do it live this year. And I said to everyone, we're going to do something even better. So I'm so pleased to announce Dave Asprey is our keynote. He is the creator of Bulletproof Coffee. He's written 3 New York Times bestsellers. He exited a Silicon Valley company for $600 million. And Dave is going to be talking about your brain, how to optimize. He's so passionate about small business owners. He's going to be giving strategies and tips. He hasn't shared anywhere. I just did an interview with him. I'll talk about it in a minute. And then we have Casey Adams. He's going to teach you how to podcast. Casey's got the #1 podcast in the world for Gen Z. And he's going to share how he prospects to get guests. He just interviewed Elon Musk's mother, May Musk. So lots of cool people. He's interviewed Grant Cardone, and the list goes on and on. Jeffrey from JR Garage was a millionaire at age 16. He has sold over 200,000 units on eBay. He has a monetized channel on YouTube with 1.3 million followers. He's going to be teaching on YouTube, on eBay. He's amazing. Kieran O'Brien is going to be teaching you how to do Facebook and Instagram advertising. Dennis Yu is a global Facebook expert. He was on CNN last year, I think 2 or 3 times. And then Avery Sly, my daughter, just graduated magna cum laude with a business degree from ASU, Carey School of Business in marketing. She is a marketing genius. She runs accounts on Instagram totaling well over 1.2 million followers. And she's going to be really teaching you how to optimize Instagram on a zero budget or a budget. And then last but not least, most important person is Diana Frerick. So Diana successfully grew a $1 million a year business part-time while she was still working full-time corporately for PetSmart. And she's going to be sharing ideas that, starting a business with a zero budget or just different things that you can do online to either grow an existing business or scale. And I forgot JJ Burden. He played in the NFL for 9 years. He's a keynote speaker. He's a best-selling author. And he's our closing keynote. And he's really going to talk about how do you win when the odds are stacked against you. So Diana, do you want to just come out and share? I know we've been working so hard on this event. It is virtual. It's going to start at noon Pacific on September 25th, which is my birthday. That's why you want to come and celebrate with me. And we're going to go for, I believe it's about 4 hours that day. And then we're going to start in the morning of September 26th. We have one of the top live stream companies we're working with that if you start even an hour later or 2 hours later because of your time zone, you're still going to have that live experience. So Diana, do you want to come out and share a little bit about the event?
Oh, definitely, Susan. I am so excited about this event. I just feel like right now the ground is kind of rumbling. People are a little antsy. They've been home a little too long. And maybe some of you have jobs out there where you work for other people. And now you're thinking, I kind of like working from home and I want to do more of that. Or maybe you've got something you've been doing on the side and you think, okay, I'm ready to kind of blow this up a little bit. So there's going to be something for everyone at this event. And I think the timing is just perfect as we're going into the fall and people can kind of ramp up what they're doing. And I know personally, I'm looking forward to a lot of these speakers, but what I feel I'm going to bring to the table is some of you maybe have an idea, you don't know where to get started, and maybe you don't even have the cash right now. You've had to use all your extra cash just to kind of stay, you know, afloat during these COVID months. But I'm going to give you some real world things you can do to generate income so that you can maybe bootstrap your own business. I know how to bootstrap a business. I bootstrapped my own multi-million dollar business that went on to do over 15 million in sales. And that wasn't easy. And I didn't have all the resources that you guys have now. I wish I'd have had this stuff then. It would have been a lot easier for me. But I'm telling you, there's so many ways that you're going to be able to do your own thing. And I'm not talking scammy things where you're having to log in websites and click stuff. And no, I'm talking about real legitimate ways to make money. You don't even have to put your credit card in to get started. And I'm talking about ways you can do print on demand with no budget, where you can sell photos and video. Right now, selling 4K videos is the thing to do. You can make some extra money there. How to write things. You don't even have to be a great writer. You can maybe got C's in English and still sell your writing, believe it or not. So I'm telling you, there are ways to do it. I'm going to teach you that in Udemy, and I'm going to learn from these guys too on other things to do.
Thanks so much, Diana. Yeah, we're leveling up in everything we're doing, and Dave is just such an outstanding human. Oh my gosh, like just that Dave alone. And so you might be wondering, how much is the ticket? You know, is it like $997 or what? No, the answer is it's $197, and if you use the code PEPPY147, Diana, is it all caps or is it all small? Diana knows. I don't know the answer. You're going to get $50 off if you go ahead.
I actually think it might be SIYP.
Okay.
Let me look.
Okay, Diana
got the screen up.
This is one of the codes. Anyway, so this will get you $50 off, which is the most you can get off. And you just go to www.udemy.online.live and get your ticket. And you want to get your ticket like ASAP. We're not going to keep it at this price that long, and we would love to see you there. And you might be wondering, like, if I'm in, like, I know I have Aussies, people in the UK. If you're in a different time zone, you will have access to the recordings for, I think we're going to do 72 hours. So don't worry, it's totally cool. But this content is so incredible, and I believe in it so much that if you come to Udemy and you do what our trainers say and you don't make back your $147 in 30 days, I will personally refund your money. So there you go. All right,
Susan, can I just add that it is SIYP 147 lowercase.
Okay, do you mind putting that in the chat? SIYP
I will.
147 lowercase. Awesome.
I'll put the website and the code.
Well, I just interviewed Dave Asprey. My podcast show is now in 112 countries, and which is super exciting. And so I would love for you to check it out on Spotify, on iTunes. And my interview with Dave is amazing. And in fact, some of the early feedback was, oh my gosh, that was the best use of an hour of my life. I know, Bruce, I love you so much, brother. Bruce just posted in the chat. Bruce, maybe you can share what you loved about it, but check it out. It is amazing, amazing. And you can always just know Next Live Coaching, September 17th. And you can always tweet at me. You can Facebook me. You can, you know, on Instagram, LinkedIn, that kind of thing. I'm here for you and I want to serve. We have the first question, Diana. I'm going to jump right in. Someone has chatted. How do I separate when building a team? How do I separate the personal from the business? Because this relationship is draining me. So it's, she says, this person says, I straight up told her that I'm not a therapist. This is all I can offer. It's a little draining. I don't want to lose her as a client. I want to be respectful. Okay. This is great. How many of you have ever had a situation where there was a boundary, where there was something in business and it crossed over to personal and it was uncomfortable? Just say yes in the chat so this person knows they're not alone, right? And so the first thing is setting our boundaries. And we teach the world how to treat us. And so boundaries can come in some different forms. They can be time boundaries. So, being able to simply say, hey, I'm happy to talk business with you, between this time and this time. But if it's anything personal, I'm starting to feel like, maybe I'm not the best resource for you with regard to this. And I'm happy to jump on a 5-minute call and, give you some thoughts on a book to read or a podcast to listen to or something like that. If that doesn't go well, then the next level of escalation goes something like this. If we're allowing something, I want everyone to write this down. If we're allowing something in our lives that is negative, then we're choosing it. Oh, right? So if we're allowing something in our lives that's negative, we're choosing it. And why would we stay in a toxic relationship if it's only about money? Because what you're essentially doing there is you're saying, I don't value myself enough to set this boundary and have an abundant mindset that if this person's no longer in my business world, that a better person isn't going to come in. And I can tell you time and time and time again, when I have, set boundaries with toxic people or just blessed and released them, lovingly blessed and released them, it's created a clearing for just awesome relationships to flow through. And so something to really think about there is that when we're holding on to a toxic relationship, we're doing it from this place of lack where we're saying, I don't think, and it doesn't matter if it's a toxic job, it's a toxic business partnership, it's holding on to an employee too long or team member. When we're in that place, it's not about that person shining a mirror on all of us and saying, hey, these are all the things you're insecure about yourself with, and they're just showing it back to us. And until we cut them loose and let them free, we're not loving ourselves enough. So that's what I would say to that one. That's a great question. That's a great, great question. All right, who has got the next question? Okay. Yes. All right. So Jessica wants to ask about a press release. Jessica, why don't you come out and share about the press release, because you have a #1 best-selling book. So let's,
Yeah. So Susan, I want to edify you, because last month I came on here and I said I was going to put a book out. And from the moment that I actually had the idea about the book until the moment the book came on Amazon, it was actually under 2 months. I think it was actually exactly 52 days from the moment we had the idea to conception. And it was incredible because my dream was of an Amazon best-selling book. And I asked you, what can I do to make that happen? And I told you I have no money to make that happen. And so you told me basically to get a bunch of interviews done. So my business partner and I, and it's kind of funny because I laughed when, people were talking about contacting 3 people a day. So our number was 100 a day. Between the two of us, our goal was to contract 100 people a day. And we did. We contacted 100 people a day for the 30 days between our book, and we recorded hundreds of interviews. And so by the time we put our book out, within literally 4 hours, we hit #1 bestseller on Amazon for that day in our both categories. Not just one category, but both categories, which is you're only allowed to list 2 categories from Amazon. So that's just an edification to you, because we did exactly what you said. And I know we wouldn't have done it without you. So, but now our step was, okay, well, we became a bestseller in 2 categories in 48 hours, or excuse me, 4 hours. So now we're 48 hours into this, and we want to approach the media, and we want to put out a press release. So I do have a press kit, and I also wrote a press release and wanting to approach media. And it's really easy to get interviews, because honestly, you can go on Blog Talk Radio and there's thousands of radio stations. If you're willing to email 100 people a day, then you're going to get 10 people, 20 people a day that says yes, even just by sheer luck. There's no skill involved. It's just the willingness to do the work. But now that we want to approach mainstream media, I do have a press release, I do have a press kit, but I want to make sure that when I approach the New York Times, when I approach Forbes, that I've been quoted in before, I want to make sure that like it converts for them, as opposed to the person who has 100 listeners on their podcast. So do you have any advice in creating our press release that will convert with mainstream media?
Sure, that's a great question. So I want everyone to, so we've had different people come on live coaching. I'll just back this up a minute, who've, I'm not going to say I have all the answers, but generally speaking, even if you do 50% of what I say, you're going to get a result. So one of the people who came on live coaching, we're very close to finding out if she's going to be featured in O Magazine in December, and it didn't cost her a thing. Right? So I'm a big believer in free press. I was just featured in Forbes. That didn't cost me anything. So there's organic press, and then there is paid. Okay. So this is just backing this up for people who don't know. The reason it's important to understand, so just a bit of the backstory, is one of the things I said to Jessica was, we look at, national autism awareness. We look at we started this before COVID. We're looking at, people are looking to write about topics. So Jessica is signed up to HARO, Help a Reporter Out. So she'll, when people are writing about autism and whatnot, she gets in there as an autism expert. So that organic traffic is good for anyone's business if you can get it. And it's just about having the tenacity to do it. So like say Karen has a business and I'm like, Karen, let's get you in the local media. So this person who's about to hopefully be featured in Oprah, we got her on 3 local national affiliates in the Dallas area for free. And now she's going to be doing a funding round for her company, and I'm advising her on that. So I'll let you guys know when that happens, because you can invest in it for like $50 a share. We're going to probably do it on WeFunder. But the reason I mention this is because you want to do what Jessica did and get masterful at free traffic first, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go in paid traffic. But if you can't iron out the kinks in the free traffic, you're going to waste a lot of money. So when it comes to press releases, there are a couple ways to do it. One, you can buy a press release for, it's about $400 to $500 from a company called PR Web. When you buy the press release, they send it out, and depending on which major media picks it up, that's how it picks up in, whatever, it's Forbes online or, Parenting Online or whatever it is. So I purchased a couple of years ago, like 20 press releases. So I can just send out a press release. I'm going to do one for Dave Asprey's interview. You can buy them in bulk, and as you buy them, the price comes down, or you can buy them in a one-off. So when you buy a press release like that, it goes out to all the mainstream media, but it's up to them who is going to pick it up. Right? Now it also is up to the day. So let's say that you do your press release and it's the same day that there's sadly like a hurricane or something like that. I have a friend, he wrote so many bestsellers, but one of his bestsellers, he should have been like, it should have been a bestseller, Home Run. He didn't know it, but it was the same day that Harry Potter was released. Right? So Jessica, you could technically buy a press release, but if you want to keep going the organic free route, it's going to be that hustle. It's going to be sending out your press kit. Hey, the book just went #1. I'd love to support you. If you want to, write it, write about this in the column. I'd love to hear some tips. I'd love to, give you some tips. There are a lot of, Jessica with her niche, there are a lot of parents at home with kids with autism too. And with schools, in and out, she also has the ability to generate a whole bunch of more free press by going to these reporters in publications she's already been in, New York Times and Forbes, and going, hey, I would love to give you some ideas on things people can do at home with kids with autism who have to learn online. And by the way, I've got a press kit. My book just went #1. So it's always in business, it's always about what can I do to serve you? And then when you give something to someone, they often want to give you something back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. So we're reaching out to a lot of local media. And it's really easy to get a local like newspaper because they're searching for content. It's really easy to get your information online. And if anyone doesn't know this, like I found, for example, like I have over right now 20 TV stations that play my YouTube videos, and my traffic to my YouTube channel like 10 times the amount. Just they're desperate for content. So I find like it's really easy to get the local people to say yes. And I've gotten really, really good at that. So now I'm trying to like one up it and get my content into like the major media. And I've had some success. Like I have been in New York Times and Forbes, but I want to get like, I want to be in control of like what content I get out there, as opposed to just being at the mercy of what stories people are looking for. So I'm trying to just like really convert it, but I will keep plugging along. And
it's a hustle, right? It's a hustle. And then eventually if you get, and that's a great idea, Denise, National Autism Foundation, and I know Jessica's in touch with all the organizations, right? Eventually you are hustling and hustling, and then you get to the point where the media starts approaching you, right? Which is the goal outcome. And that day is coming for sure. Now, I want you all to think about that. What could I offer the local media? What can I offer the local media so that I could get featured or I could get interviewed? My daughter Avery got 3 local nationals, for free for one of the brands she represents. And it was just simply that they were giving out masks during COVID. And so she was like, this is what we're going to do to offer. And then she hired a VA in the Philippines just to start direct messaging all the media for her. That's how she did it. Diana, did you want to jump out?
I did, Susan, because I have to tell you, everything you guys have said is so true. Back in the day when we had our business, I had a dream. I wanted to be in Inc. magazine. And so I wrote it down. I wanted to be Inc. magazine so bad. And then I just sent them an email. That's all I did. And then they liked what I wrote them, and I featured us in a full page story. They brought a camera crew out for a whole day. So all it took was an email to Inc. magazine to get us in there. We just write your story about what your business is and what you bring to the table that's unique. And also local media, like Jessica said, they are desperate for stories. And it was so easy to get on local media. All you had to do is offer them something they could latch onto. Like, what can you bring to the table? What can you offer them like they're doing some kind of promotion? What can you add to their promotion? Was always looking at media, like what kind of deals were they doing? What promotions did they have? What can I bring to the table? Because once you get your foot in the door and you know some of the people there, they will start coming at you. Then I was getting all kinds of offers. So it's really powerful what you guys just said. I totally agree. I lived it.
Thanks, Diana. Yeah, you've been in some awesome media, and as you get a budget too, you may choose to do media buys. If you have a budget for that, let me know. I have, my friend runs one of the premier media buying agencies out there. Your starting price is going to be about $7,000. But, if you have a budget for that and you really want to go for it, then, it's interesting when people are featured in a lot of media, until they have had like a massive success, like a big company exit or a best-selling book or whatever it is, a lot of that media is purchased. So just so everyone knows, right? Joe asked a question and I love it. So Joe wants to start a business and she knows that she's probably going to need an app for this. And she's wondering, should I do an MVP? Okay. Now and how to hire a VA. We get that every episode. I get asked that one. Okay, I will do both of those. All right, so let's talk about MVP. Of the many businesses I own, I also own a startup consulting business, and I'm a big believer in the book Lean Startup. So if you're thinking of doing a tech startup, that is a great book, Lean Startup. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to do a budget. Now, Joe thinks she needs an app. A basic app is going to be maybe $5,000. There are platforms, if you know how to build a website, you can build an app. You could get a quote on Fiverr. There's lots of different places out there where you can get quotes to do this stuff. There are apps you can purchase and white label. So it's, you know, the app does everything you want. It looks like it's your app, but you just maybe spent a couple thousand and it was white labeled someone else's app. Apps are not complicated pieces of technology. So when you're starting to think about this, you want to look at your business in phases. I once started a business that was profitable in 4 hours. Legal fees, trademarking, everything. It was an online business. It was just 4 hours to profit. So first, step one is you do your budget. And that budget, there are lots of great templates online, but you would include things like app development, your VA, you would include marketing, you would include consulting. My business partner and I in that business, just to do a consulting session to see if your business is viable, we charge about $1,500 and we do a due diligence with you. But anyway, so once you do all that, you've got your budget and you decide, I'm really going to go for this. Now you have 3 choices. Number one is bootstrapping your business. That's what Sarah Blakely did. She funded her own business. Marcia Dunn is here. She just started a business, Math with Marcia. It is an outstanding business. She bootstrapped it. So taking money from savings, your job, and putting it into your business. Number two, if you've got a really great technical idea that you think is going to fly, you can do a WeFunder raise or a crowdfunding raise. I'm a big fan of the platform WeFunder, W-E Funder. So when people are investing on WeFunder, they do not have to be qualified investors. So according to the SEC, so let's say Jessica does a company and she's going to do angel investors. That's a third kind of investor. She would have to send out investor suitability questionnaires. And to be a suitable investor, you have to have a minimum of $250,000 a year in personal income or $1 million in assets, not including your home, or $300,000 in household income to be suitable. So with the AI company that I'm the co-CEO of, we did a $5.2 million funding round, and all of the people had to fill out ISQs, and we had to turn people away. People wanted to invest in the company, but they didn't meet those KPIs from the SEC. Going back to this, so let's say Joe says, I'm going to bootstrap it. So for her app, for everything, her marketing budget, everything, she's going to need $20,000. She takes the $20,000 out. She invests in the company. She needs to, I'm a big believer, in 90 days, you need to get your minimum viable product out. You have to market test it. You have to socialize it. You have to see, and there's a bigger process, but you have to see what the bugs are. And then you might have to go back and spend more money to upgrade it. The thing with a crowdfunding or a WeFunding platform is that you might choose to raise, you know, your $50,000 or whatever you're going to raise. And, you know, people can invest $50, $100, $150, or whatever they're going to do. You would need a lead investor. And, you know, Brian and I, if we're working with a company, so this person who might be doing a WeFunder round, we would take the position of lead investor, because people invest in the investors. They don't necessarily invest in the startups, because startups have such a high failure rate. So that's my advice there. I know that's a lot, but how do you hire a VA? Onlinejobs.ph. Onlinejobs.ph. You know, we have many VAs from the Philippines. We have employees in Canada. We have employees in the United States. You know, and now I have like employees, oh my gosh, in India and California and all over the place in different companies, but onlinejobs.ph. Here's a little tip. So when Diana and I are hiring off of there, we put an Easter egg of some sort in the job description. So Diana, like, we'll do something like, reply to this with this title: I am applying for your epic job. Anyone who doesn't do that, we automatically disqualify the resume. The other thing we'll say is include your favorite food in your response. And if they don't include their favorite food, we don't. They also do the DISC profile. So that is a personality profile. And I tend to hire based on the personality I'm looking for that position. And so if you are familiar with the DISC profile, you'll know that, you know, Diana's role at the agency is she's the president. So she is a high D, and I need her to be, because I just want to get out of her way. Like, okay, I'm getting out of your way, right? But if you have someone who's a VA, you don't want them to be a high D. You want them to be someone who's going to take what you give them and then go and execute on that. So, you know, that's why we like onlinejobs.ph. Fancy Hands is another one. They do tasks, but those are the key ones we recommend. I know that was a lot, Joe. Did that answer your question? You never know what we're going to talk about in live coaching. All right, there's another question. Feel free to share a question. You are welcome, Joe. All right, feel free to share a question. Okay, so there's a question. I struggle with introducing my network marketing business into a conversation, and if I do, to then convert them into a customer closing the sale. Okay, everyone write this down. I don't care what you're selling. All sales are the same. All sales are the same. Tomorrow morning at 7:30 in the morning, I am on my first sales call of the day for one company. This company that we're talking to is a huge multi-billion-dollar company in Europe. And in this one company, we only do business, we're a B2B company with multi-billion-dollar companies. Okay, so I'm not asking someone to spend $350. I'm asking them to, you know, essentially shake hands and talk about $300,000 or more dollars as an example. So as a starting point. So all sales are the same, whether you're selling something that's $350, you know, whether you're doing a funding round for your company, no matter what it is. So there's a formula that I use, and this formula has helped me build 3 award-winning channel sales teams to the tune of now approaching soon to be $2 billion in sales, okay, in 3 separate verticals, and soon to be a 4th. And so I've used this formula to bring in funding. I've used this formula to, you know, build a network marketing business. I've used it, you know, for all sorts of things. And it comes down to 4 things. Number 1, when you're having the conversation, it starts with C, common ground. You do not proceed until you get to common ground. The biggest mistake I see anyone make in a selling situation is they talk too much and they don't answer questions. My day, and I'm not saying this to impress you, some of you wouldn't want to live my day. My day, my first sales call was 7 this morning, you know, and it's just been going. So I've done, you know, different forms of selling all day today. So there was one thing today with a network marketing situation, and someone had brought a prospect to talk to me. And the first thing I did, this woman was in Italy. So the first thing I did is I spoke to her in her language. I said, buonasera, da, da, da. And then anyway, we got to some common ground. Where in Italy do you live? Oh, you know, where's your family from? And we just kept on going until we had something in common. In any sales, you get to common ground. That's the first and foremost thing. And then the next thing, A, you affirm the person. Affirm them. Genuinely, thank you so much for taking the time. Or Denise, oh my gosh, there's, you know, I'm so excited to talk to you. There's just something, I don't know, you glow, like, I don't know, you know, we'll have to talk about that after, you know, whatever. But you affirm that person. Tomorrow morning, I'll be affirming the people we're having the meeting with. Thank you so much for making the time. This is our 2nd meeting in a week. So thanking them for the time, finding a common area, you know, anything at all. And then, you know, making them feel good about having a conversation with you. The P stands for permission. Once you get to common ground, you affirm the person, then you get permission to talk about what it is you want to talk about. So, you know, in Sharon, in your case, it might be, you know, hey, it's thanks for making the time. You know, I'm looking for referrals in my business. And I think, you know, everyone is aware, you know, just how Diana beautifully started when she was speaking. You know, we're all getting kind of squirrely in the house and we're looking for something to supercharge us. And, you know, and I'm, you know, I've launched a business or I'm scaling my business and this is what I'm doing. You know, I'm helping people get healthy. I'm helping people feel better about themselves. I'm helping people with their stress, with their sleep, whatever. And, you know, could I tell you a little bit about it? Because I'm looking for referrals. The reason I like referrals coming out of the gate is it's much less confrontational in a sales setting. So then I'm going to talk about it, pardon me, and I'm going to be, you know, very effusive about what I'm doing. And then that person's either going to say, yeah, I can think of some people, or, oh my gosh, I'm interested in this. That's if you don't have a close relationship. If you have a close relationship, you might say something like, Bruce, you know, after I've, you know, done, you know, common ground and affirming him, gotten permission, you know, Bruce, I made a list. This is NLP. So this is like the high level sales technique. I used this with someone the other day. Bruce, I made a list of people that I know that are full of integrity and heart. There are people that I know that no matter what's going on, they will always go the extra mile. And that list is pretty short, and you're at the top of the list. And even though I'm nervous to talk to you about this, you know, I have a business, and, you know, I'll be kind of honest. I've kind of half-assed it at times, but, you know, this whole situation has made me really rethink it. And the truth is that, you know, what I have, people really need. And I'm wondering if you're open, if, you know, I could share with you what it is I'm doing. And because I'm looking for a running mate, I'm looking for business partners, I'm looking for people who I can build a team with. I'm looking for people like you with heart and soul and passion. Would you be open to, you know, listening for 5 minutes? That's how you do it. I don't care what you're selling. Yeah. Dinah, as she said, $15 million worth of karaoke equipment. It was no different, right? Like it's the same thing. And at the end of the day, we're always selling ourselves. Thanks, Bruce. We're always selling ourselves. So yesterday morning, 6 a.m., I get this text message. Can you do a quick call? Now, my first thought in my head was, I don't want to do a quick call. It's 6 in the morning. I've had coffee. I prayed. I've meditated. I just want some quiet time. I'm getting some work done. But this person is the lead at a $10 billion plus company per year. And we want to do more business with them. So do you want to know what I said? I called them. I said, listen, there are 5 people I do business with. And of all the people I do business with, these 5 people are the only people that I would call back at 6 in the morning, and you're one of them. We ended the call. He's like, you know what? I'm circling the wagons. We're going to want you to do a proposal for more locations. It's about making people feel good, right? But being genuine about it. There really are only 5 people in business I'm going to call back at that time, right? So that's how you handle that. So Sharon, hopefully that answers your question. All right, who's got the next question? You can jump out and ask a question. It can be, as I said, it could be mindset. You're welcome, hon. It could be business.
Hi, Susan.
Hey, Cassie.
I got a little excited. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. The beautiful servant-heartedness of your heart. Thank you so much. And so I have just a quick, maybe a 2-part question, but I'm in network marketing and I'm super passionate about that. Like I want to lead a great team and like change the world, pretty big dreams and stuff. But I also have a huge vision now since COVID to run online fitness courses for people with intellectual disabilities like autism and Down syndrome and things like that. So I'm just trying to figure out like if it's like wise to kind of do both right now, because I'm still working about 30 hours a week because I still have to pay bills right now. But I'm just so passionate about both sides because I've been in the field of developmental services for almost 12 years now. And then of course, I just believe everyone deserves to feel healthy and their best version of themselves and just have a lot of fun. So I hope I asked my question correctly.
That's a great question. That's a great question because often we have a job and a side hustle, and then there's this little seed of like another side hustle. So as someone who now has 4, Dave Asprey has 6, you know, I'm like, hey, so the secret to Cassie being able to handle multiple businesses are the following 3 things. Number 1, I've only seen it successfully work when the businesses can work together. So for example, for you, yeah, your businesses work together, health and wellness and health and wellness. I think that's okay, right? Number one. Number two, does the second business need to be all in, or could you start it, you know, and just begin to do it, you know, develop an Instagram profile, YouTube, and just begin to start it, right? Number three is, how can you leverage other people's genius? So for example, Jessica is an autism consultant, but she does not do online exercise, you know, for people with autism, right? So technically, you know, saying to Jess about the collaboration, listen, I'd love to promote your book to the people I'm working with, and I want to start online exercise classes for this group of people. Would you be interested in cross-promoting? So one of the things we do at the UME Live event, which we're not going to do online because it's just not possible, I do a process where we give you big, huge sheets of Bristol board or project board, depending where you live. In Canada, we say Bristol board. I don't know. Anyway, and we take all of your businesses and we draw this beautiful, it's like a tree, and about how they all flow together and what the revenue looks like. And then what we do is we anchor it in with like NLP. And I'll tell you, if I just may share a story, if I can indulge all of you with a quick story. So a few years ago, I went to Sedona and I was doing an NLP certification. And I can't even remember, this was even before, Diana and I have known each other for years, but it was before Diana and I were like back in each other's lives. And one night I couldn't sleep, and I get out my notebook and some markers, and I just draw these businesses and how they all fit together. And I had a tech company, and I had the agency, and I had my network marketing business, and I had the books I sell and the speaking, and it was all there, Cassie. And you know, it's interesting because even though that was years ago, it's all filling in now, right? And it was not long after that, Diana and I reconnected. And it was not long after that, the agency was started. And then now, you know, one of my dreams was that Avery would come and work in the agency. And I think Avery loves Diana more than me, honestly, but you know, they have fun. You should see them around the office. Diana's roller skating. Avery's got this big unicorn on her head. They get each other. But, you know, Avery, you know, Diana is excellent as the president. Avery is excellent as a brand and marketing manager. But I dreamed all this stuff years ago, and you want to dream in high definition. And Cassie, I would encourage you tonight to architect it all out. It really does fit beautifully together. If you came to me and said, I want to start a high fat taco stand, and I want to work in health and wellness, and I'd probably say no. I always am a big believer that one business must support the other, right? One business must support the other. So that's the key. And so Cassie, does that answer that?
Yes, I was taking notes like a mad woman over here. Yeah, that's super helpful. And I even began a small Instagram account. There's like only 4 posts right now, but it's like why I'm doing it, what's involved, and things like that. So I'm definitely on there. But I even said that, oh, who was it? Jessica said we should connect. So that makes my heart happy, especially with it being online. It can be like international, which makes me even more happy. And even with the potential second wave happening. So there's a lot of things that I'm trying to like build momentum for. So.
And to build your Instagram, you can repost as well. And Jessica has some of her clients have Instagram followings, her clients who are autistic. And so how Avery built this huge food page and then sold it on Instagram was she reposted others' content, and then people started to pay her to post their content. And then she was getting all these free meals. And I'm like, either you have to sell this damn page or we have to talk. Because it was like, we went to Israel, every night we had free desserts, because she had messaged all these restaurants and said, hey, I have the top food page, I'd love to feature your restaurant. And we were getting like desserts. One night we went out and they were like, oh, if you give us a really good TripAdvisor review, we'll give you each 3 desserts, I think. I was like, I said, Avery, like, seriously, like, I can't do it. Oh, so, but the other thing I want to say to all of you, you're not collaborating enough. Love you all, and you're not collaborating enough. You know, again, it goes back to that abundant mentality, right? Like, Diana and I have a beautiful human in our life, Bryce, and he is one of the principals at Plus This, which is some technology we use. And we said, Bryce, we're having this event, you know, are you open to promoting it? He's like, heck yeah. And then I had Dave Asprey, was in my vision that he was going to keynote the event. Dave is going to be promoting our event to his entire list, right? And yeah, and Dave is such a special human. Like, if you think I'm at all inspirational, wait until you're at the event, you hear what he has to say. Like, it's amazing. And so it's just really thinking about how you can collaborate more. Someone messaged me and said, I have heard that you are supposed to be where the customers who are buying your clients' products are. How do you find where they're hanging out? How do you market to them without obviously selling? You want to try to do things to keep your customer top of mind. I want to learn and listen to the buyers and what they're saying, what they're looking for, what products they like, and so how do you approach this? That's a great question. Okay, couple things. I love Instagram polls. Instagram polls are amazing. And if you don't have a ton of followers yet on Instagram, ask maybe, you know, you could ask a friend to do a poll for you. It doesn't matter who does the poll, because you're just looking for buyer input. Like, I did a poll tonight on Instagram, do you have a side hustle? Right? Now, the nice thing, if it's your Instagram and it's a business account, then you can see who responded and you can message them. And so I really believe in organically, you know, doing some due diligence. One of the things that, you know, is also great is to get, you know, just doing, again, this is all, I like to give as much advice that you can do for free as possible, but you can do a Survey Monkey for free as long as it's under 10 questions, and you can put it out on social. You can ask your friends to answer it. You know, even when we were pricing the UME online event, we did a survey. We did a survey to see what was the price point that people would be comfortable with, where they would still think it was a high quality event. There was actually a price point that if we priced it, they would have said it's going to be a piece of crap because it was so low. So that's how we priced the event. You know, and obviously we have costs in the event. We've got to make back those costs, but that's how you do it. You poll people, you survey people. There are lots of interesting places online to get great information as well. Statista is an amazing resource, Statista. Now, there is a paid version and a free version, but Statista is awesome just in terms of giving you statistics on a demographic. So let me give this example. So one of the people that I'm mentoring, who's got the clothing company, one of the things I looked at was athleisure. You know, what is the athleisure market globally? What's it expected to be? What would it look like if you got a 0.5 penetration in that? How much would her company be worth? The list goes on and on. Then who are the competitors in her space? Lululemon had put their whole 2018 business plan online. It was 76 pages. So I said, here's the link. Here's your big competition. Read their business plan. You can figure out what they're doing. So there's lots of great resources online. Diana, you want to jump out?
You are so intuitive, Susan. Hey, I've got a hot tip for everybody. And I might even train more on the angles of this to make money. But if you want to leverage influencers on Instagram, I'm going to give you a website here. It's called shoutcart.com. You can actually shop for the influencer you want to buy a spot on their page. There you go.
I didn't know that one.
You're going to learn some stuff from me, Susan, at UME online.live.
Diana is like the Wikipedia of resources. Like I'm not even kidding you. I'd be like, I want to get her IQ tested because I'm sure it's like, you know, Mensa smart. Like she's always like, oh yeah, didn't you know about that resource? So funny story, because, you know, it's like, I like, you know, again, you keep it light. So Diana knows lots of things about lots of things, but I actually found an author that she would be super interested in who has many bestsellers that she didn't even know about. So I kind of gave myself a pat on the back.
I was stumped. I was blown away. Like, how did I not know about this author? I was blown away.
Medical medium. Yep. Diana, would you put that in the chat? Miss Marcia wants it. If people already have live tickets, you should have received an email from us with the details. But if you have a live ticket, you are going to be working with me for 9 months. I am going to be kicking your ass for 9 months. You're getting a mastermind with me for 9 months. And then obviously the event is moving because our governor has banned gatherings of 10 or more, which kind of prohibits the Yumi. But you will have in your email, you got so many beautiful things. We wanted to just spoil you rotten. So yeah, it's all good. We have time for another question. Who's got a question? And don't think, like, just think, okay, I've got a question. My business is flat. What do I do? I'm open. Ask me anything. And again, you can private chat it to me too. Okay, while we're waiting for that last question, and I know some of you all are so polite, you're like, well, I don't want to ask it, then I'll take someone else's spot. It's okay, maybe I can answer too. It's totally fine. You know, something I want everyone to think about is that I read an article on MarketWatch today, and it was talking about people who pulled money out of the stock market in March because they were panicking. And it was something like, they said like 77% of the panickers were women. And it was interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she's like, I didn't pull my money out of the market, and we're actually up, Susan. Well, if you had pulled your money out of the market, you could be down because you missed like the whole wave, and the S&P is like, I think it's at the record. You would have missed so many opportunities. And the people who kept their money in the market are up quite significantly versus the people who panicked and pulled it out even though they didn't need it. So the reason I just, I mentioned that is because we're in a time of amazing abundance. There are businesses being started now that you're gonna know in your household in 10 years. Math with Marcia is gonna be the new Kumon. Like in 10 years, it'd be like, why is your kid so smart in math? Because they go to the Math with Marcia Academy. What's your problem? I'm not even kidding. So when you think about the times we're living in now, I think there's never been a better time to start a business. And to Diana's point, you don't even need startup capital or very little startup capital. It's never been easier. My show that's coming up next week is with Jeffrey from JR Garage. And this kid is 21. He's got 3 companies and they make millions and millions of dollars. He just bought an airplane. He owns 22 luxury cars, a McLaren, all this stuff. He bought them all for cash. And if you're young, he's single, but I'm like a second mother, so I have to vet you. But you know, and in the show, I said, Jeffrey, you know, what about people who own multiple businesses? And he's like, Susan, because of things like VAs overseas and because of how cheap it is to set up a business and, you know, have a website and do all this stuff, he's like, of course you can. It's not like it was 20 years ago where every business was such a grind. With automation, you can have multiple businesses. And that's what that's what I want to share with all of you. Someone asked me if UMEonline.live is case sensitive. It is not case sensitive. Go there and get your ticket. It's going to be awesome. That's what I have to say.
I just wanted to share, Susan, to piggyback on what you were saying. There's never been a better time in the history of the world to leverage talent. It used to be when you owned a company, you had to do everything internally. And now it's like you could outsource just about everything. But to your point about just weird little side hustles, and I know you know the story, I just literally saw something on Marketplace a few weeks ago, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think that's really valuable. And I did a little research, and sure enough, I bought it for $350, and it's worth $15,000. And I had a little bit of guilt about it because I wasn't sure, like, okay, is it really fair to buy this and that person doesn't know? And I really was fighting that. But then when I went to meet with the person, I started asking about it because I wasn't 100% sure yet. Is it really worth this? And I said to her, what's the story? She goes, oh, it's old and it's worth a lot of money. I think it's worth almost $14,000. But she didn't want to mess with it. So the guilt was gone, and I knew it was valuable. So you guys, the money is out there. You just got to start looking for opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome, Diana. Diana called me. She's like, Susan, you won't believe it. And she's telling me about this gaming table. I'm like, I think it's worth probably $15,000. And just by what she was describing. So anyway, she had lots. I'm not an antique, expert. Some super rapid fire questions. How do I do Facebook Lives if I'm nervous? You just friggin' do them. Perfection is a form of procrastination. Any of our agency clients who I've worked with and mentored will tell you, I say this all the time, version 1 is better than version none. Version 1 is better than, if you look at some of the big TikTok influencers, the, YouTube influencers, their early videos compared to what they do now, it's crazy. So if you go back to Susan Sly early YouTube videos, oh my gosh, now we have a full-time video person that makes me look fabulous. But, back in the old days, yeah. How do you show up and do live coaching when you don't even know what people are going to ask? You just do, and you pray, right? You do and you pray. Someone asked me, how do you keep track of your Facebook contacts? I mean, there are ways to sort your Facebook contacts, just, using, there's tools where you can just literally go in and set people up in groups and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. Someone asked a question, how do I build a brand that draws prospects and customers where there's already a lot of people in that area? And we call that a red ocean, where there's a lot of saturation. And when we did the last UME, which was called O4D, I did a lot of time on red ocean, blue ocean. So if you are going to draw people in an area where there's lots of people, you have to do one of 3 things, preferably all of them. Number 1, it's about consistency. You got to, it's like posting content on a variety of platforms, because you don't know which platform your content is going to really soar on. Number 2, you have to put a different spin on it. So I have a friend who's an Instagram influencer, Diva over 50. She's not in network marketing, just a good gal pal of mine. And she's built this brand. And her Instagram followers, it might be like, I don't know, 12 or 13,000. That doesn't sound like a lot, but her post engagement is through the roof. And so she does things differently. She's really targeting women over 50. And so, you've got to, get in there and have a target within the target, and do things differently than other people do. And the third thing that I will say is you have to figure out who you're talking to and talk specifically to them. So if it's health and wellness and you're going to talk to guys who are 25 to 30, then speak to them, post to them. If you're talking to women over 60, speak to them, post to them. And that's how you do it. And when you're in a red ocean scenario, it does take time. And that's where the consistency comes in. I was the first online lifestyle and weight loss coach in 1995, the very first one. And I turned that all into network marketing. I didn't pursue the whole online lifestyle weight loss coach personality that I was, but I was on radio, I was on television, I was on the web. I was the OG of that. And, I was the first on the platform. And that's the fourth tip I would give you. Instagram is doing Reels, which to compete with TikTok, we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok. Reels is a big thing. And if you can start to figure out ways to give quick tips in 15 seconds or less on Reels, the reason I like it, it's integrated right into Instagram. So you just hit a button and you're off to the races. You're on the same platform. And if you're coming to UME, the other thing, obviously, I'm so excited about this event. Kieran's going to show you how to run your ads and for the minimal amount of money to get the best impact. And so when you're running ads on, say, Facebook, it's, you know, the same ads manager for Facebook and Instagram, and you can start boosting your Reels posts and things like that, like, and just, you know, making a massive impact into that area. So yeah, anyway, these are great questions, Diana. These are awesome. And you know, we had, I'd love to hear some things you guys are taking away. Just put it in the chat, some things you're taking away. Yeah, the person who messaged me privately, who's a swim coach, yeah, you can monetize that. You know, there's so many things you can do. And our goal with these live coaching sessions is to really expand your mind. In the September live coaching, my sidekick is going to be my daughter Avery. We're going to be focused on social media optimization. But the last thing I'll say is the price of UME is going up at the end of August, and we're going to be very like line in the sand. So get your ticket, $147, business expense, money back guarantee, right? It's going to be awesome. So anyway, thank you everyone for your feedback. Thank you, Diana, for being here. It's wonderful to see all of your incredible faces. If, you know, you guys will get the recording because you signed up for live coaching. So with that, give me a shout out on social. Let me know what you're taking away if you didn't get to chat it. All right, goodbye, everyone. Love you too,
everybody.
Bye.